to Willowbrook felt like a fresh start, a chance to escape the cacophony of the city and find peace in a tranquil countryside. My cottage, a charming abode with white picket fences and a garden brimming with colorful blooms, sat nestled in the heart of a quiet neighborhood. At first glance, it seemed like the idyllic place for a new beginning, but little did I know that this picturesque setting would soon become the backdrop for a bone-chilling nightmare. It was on a bright, sunny morning that the new neighbors moved in next door. The Turners, as they introduced themselves, appeared to be an ordinary family on the surface. Mrs. Turner had an air of quiet elegance about her, while Mr. Turner was always seen tending to the garden with a welcoming smile. Their two children, a boy named Ethan and a girl named Lily, were what one would expect from kids their age, cute, with tousled hair and innocent faces. As the days passed, I couldn't help but notice that something was amiss. It wasn't a glaring abnormality, but rather an unsettling feeling that crept into the depths of my consciousness. It started with a simple wave as we exchanged pleasantries during our initial encounters. It was the children's eyes that first sent a shiver down my spine. Their gaze was strangely cold and distant, devoid of the usual curiosity and innocence that defined children their age. The Turners continued to be friendly neighbors, inviting me over for tea and engaging in polite conversations. Yet, my unease grew with each interaction. It was as though there was a hidden layer, a sinister undercurrent that I couldn't quite put my finger on. The children, especially, would occasionally cast knowing glances, their lips curving into unsettling smiles that seemed to conceal a dreadful secret. Little did I know that these children, with their eerie demeanor, would soon become the central figures in a series of inexplicable and terrifying events that would shake the very foundation of my newfound sanctuary in Willowbrook. One night, as I lay in bed, the moon cast an eerie glow through my bedroom window. The air felt unusually still, and an unsettling sensation crept over me. That's when I heard it, a faint, almost imperceptible whispering. At first, I dismissed it as a trick of my tired mind or the wind rustling the leaves outside. But as seconds turned into minutes, the whispering grew more distinct, and my curiosity got the better of me. I got out of bed and followed the chilling sound, barefooted, down the creaky wooden stairs. The whispers seemed to originate from the wall that separated our houses. I placed my ear against the cool, painted surface, and that's when the hairs on the back of my neck stood on end. The wall was pulsating, as if it had a heartbeat of its own, throbbing in time with the whispers. The voices were faintly childlike, like the hushed secrets of young siblings conspiring together. They spoke in a language I couldn't understand, syllables that seemed ancient and foreign. It was as though the very walls held a dark, arcane secret, and they were unwillingly sharing it with me. Fear gnawed at my chest, but I couldn't tear myself away. The voices grew louder, more urgent, and the walls seemed to tremble under their influence. It was as though the very fabric of reality was warping, bending to accommodate their spectral presence. I tried to make sense of the words, but they remained just out of reach, like elusive phantoms dancing on the fringes of comprehension. My heart raced, my palms grew clammy, and I felt a presence on the other side of the wall, watching me, waiting. As I stood there, paralyzed by terror and fascination, I realized that something was terribly wrong next door. The Turners' children were not ordinary. They were conduits to a world beyond our understanding, and that world was seeping into our reality, one haunting whisper at a time. As days turned into weeks, I became consumed by the mystery next door. I started to research the history of the town, hoping to find answers. What I discovered was a chilling tale. Decades ago, A tragic fire had taken the lives of two siblings in that very house. One evening, I decided to confront the Turners about what I had uncovered. The air grew colder as I approached their front door, the unease settling deep in my bones. I knocked, and the door creaked open slowly, revealing a dimly lit hallway that seemed to stretch on forever. Stepping inside, I called out to the Turners. The house was unnaturally silent, save for the faint sound of a pendulum clock ticking ominously in the distance. As I ventured further, I reached the living room, where I froze in sheer terror. The children, Daniel and Emily, stood in the center of the room, their once lifeless eyes now pitch black, devoid of any humanity. They were suspended in the air, their small bodies hovering a foot above the ground. Their limbs twisted and contorted at unnatural angles, like marionettes under the control of a malevolent puppeteer. The room was bathed in an eerie, otherworldly light, casting long, sinister shadows on the walls. Books and furniture floated around the room, orbiting the possessed siblings as if guided by some invisible force. "We've been waiting for you," they hissed in unison, their voices echoing through the room. The temperature plummeted further, and my breath came out in frosty puffs. The very air seemed charged with dark energy. Suddenly, an invisible force seized control of me, gripping me by the throat and lifting me off the ground. Panic surged through my veins as I dangled in the air, helpless. My vision blurred as the malevolent presence drew me closer to the possessed siblings. It was as if they wanted to transfer their malevolent spirits into me, to make me one of them. Desperation overcame me, and I fought with all my strength. My heart pounded in my chest, and I whispered prayers for salvation, begging for release from this nightmare. In the end, it was the voices of the town's long-lost souls that saved me. Their anguished cries, echoing from beyond the grave, drowned out children's chants. The room quaked with the intensity of the supernatural struggle, and the very walls seemed to wail in agony. With one final, guttural scream, the grip on me released, and I fell to the floor, gasping for air. The malevolent energy dissipated like a dissipating storm. The room returned to its eerie silence. Outside, the night sky erupted in ghostly flames that consumed the Turners' home, illuminating the neighborhood in an eerie, flickering glow. I crawled out of that cursed house, trembling and scarred, haunted by the memory of those creepy children. The horrors I witnessed would stay with me forever, a reminder that evil can lurk in the most unsuspecting places, even behind the innocent faces of children.